Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the introduction to the C programming language. Anyway, hi there. Let's learn C together. My name is Abdel Wadoud, and we're going to learn C together. Anyway, things we have to know before starting. You don't really have to master them, but just to have like an overview, to have an idea about them. What is a programming language? A programming language is like a translator between you and the computer. It lets you write instructions in a way the computer can understand to perform tasks. Think of it as teaching the computer step by step what to do, like adding numbers, displaying a message, or solving a problem. Examples include Python, C, and Java. And for example, when you're telling the computer, for example, when you're playing a game, that means that the computer is having some kind of instructions to do what you see is doing. Simply, there's a lot of people that told the computer what to do in order to do that. And we don't tell the computer using like the normal languages like English or any other language. No, we're doing it using like the only languages the computer speak with, which are programming languages like C, Python, and Java. You may say to me why there's not only one single programming language. It's kind of a long topic, but it's simply, you can think of it as the computer can understand all of those ones, but it can perform them in a different speed, alright? And some of them are harder than others, and some of them are easier than the other ones. That's it. So this is another topic that we're going to discuss another time, but in general, we're learning C programming language, a language that the computer speaks, alright, and can understand, and that's it. And in the coming videos, we're going to discuss why there's different programming languages, and why some of them better than some of them in some contexts. For example, when we're talking about C++, C++ is good, for example, because it's good, like it's close to the hardware. It's an OOP language, which means object-oriented programming language. And it's used too much when it comes to making games, for example, with Unreal Engine, alright? And Java for Android development, and Python for AI, and all of those kind of things. And yes, so like there's a different programming languages that play a different role. Alright, so they're kind of different, but they're almost telling the computer just something to do. Why starting with C? Starting with C is a good choice because it teaches you the basics of how computers work, helps you understand the memory and data management, and provides a solid foundation for learning other languages. So the moment you master C and you know like how things are going on in the C programming language, the other programming languages will be so easy for you to master, because almost all of them are based on C. Like all of the programming languages that you're seeing are based on C. When we're saying C++, it's just C plus something, alright? And for the other programming languages, they are C or either C++, and we added something to them, alright? All of them in reality are just C. What is a compiler? A compiler is a tool that converts code written in a programming language like C into machine code that a computer can execute. It checks for errors and then produces an executable file. Alright, this is a good point. Now imagine with me there's two people, you and somebody else who do not really speak the language that you speak in. For example, when we're talking about someone who's speaking, for example, Arabic. Alright, if you need a translator, you need someone who speaks like Arabic and in the same time speaks English. Alright, for example, I'm speaking English right now, so and there's a translator next to me, and the one who I want to deliver the message to in front of me. I'm telling the translator, tell them that and that and that, and he will translate it. That's the same thing. A computer does not directly understand the programming languages. He can't understand them. He needs a translator, because actually the computer understands only one single language, which is 0 and 1. And I think like all of you heard about this one, 0 and 1, all right? And the programming languages are made to facilitate to us the working and telling the computer what to do, because writing 0 and 1 isn't really a good idea. And if you went to the history of computers, you'll find that the computers in the beginning started understanding zeros and one, and then a programming language is called assembly, all right, which is too close to the 0 and 1, and then we made C, and then C++, and then other programming languages, all right. So a compiler is just a tool that converts your code into machine code that the machine can understand, all right. I hope this one is clear. What is an executable file? An executable file is a program that can run on a computer. It contains machine code that the computer understands. Example, on Windows machines, its extension is .exe. So when we're talking about an executable file, the executable file is the true file that contains zeros and ones that the computer can understand. And on Windows, they're .exe, alright? But for Linux, etc., you can have an executable file with any extension. You just have to give it the permission to be an executable file. And what's an IDE? I think like most of you will hear about this one. An IDE is a tool that helps you write and test computer programs. It has everything you need, like a place to write your code, to also check for mistakes, and buttons to run the program, all in one place. Also, you have a nice completion that will help you when writing your code. And you can think of an IDE simply as a tool that we use to write our codes and helps us check if there's errors before even running the program. I mean, like compiling the program, so that will make our development environment a bit faster. And when it comes to the examples, there's a lot of ones like Div C++, a simple IDE for C and C++ programming, and Client, alright, Eclipse, Xcode, a development. This is one for the ones who own a Mac OS machine, and the Visual Studio, alright. This is a great one too. And the Visual Studio Code. Alright, this is one of the most known ones, and I think this one is really nice and good. And a lightweight open source code editor with powerful features like syntax highlighting, debugging, and extensions for multiple programming languages. And code blocks. If you want things already and etc. to start your journey writing C and C++ programs, you can just use code blocks. If you want like a bit nicer IDE and just like have like extensions, etc., but needs a lot of work when it comes to setting it up, you will have to use Visual Studio Code. But both of them do the job, and both of them are great programs. If AQ, should I understand everything? No, you shouldn't. You must not understand everything. You only have to understand enough things to be able to build in something small and learn from the mistakes you're gonna face while building that. And with time, you're getting better. How to gain the most knowledge from this course? By doing. Watching is good, but doing is better. Now let's dive into writing code. Alright, create an empty file, example on your desktop, alright, and name it hello world.c file. Alright, name it hello world.c. Write the following code there. Alright, take your time, stop the screen, stop the video, try to copy that code as it is, and then we're gonna move. I know how do you feel. I feel like that too, but things will get easier with time. Like, what the hell? What I'm saying here? No, things will get easier with time. Explanation of the Hello World program. So, for the include stdio.h statement, the include stdio.h statement is simply a statement telling the computer to include a certain library for use for us. Alright, when it comes to using the programming language. The programming language contains a lot of libraries for doing different tasks. Or for example, you print on the screen something, you read from the user, you print for the user, you do different things, alright? And the programming language, for example, contains a lot of libraries that we can include, and we're including only the ones we need. Imagine yourself, you're including libraries and tools you don't really even need in your program. Your program is going to get larger, and that's going to be a problem, alright? So we're just including what we need. And in our case, the stdio.h library means standard input-output library, which contains like the tools that the basic ones that we're going to use while dealing with input and output, basic input and output. And int, this simply, the int that you're seeing here this simply means integer, and in this context it simply says that the main function returns the integer value to the OS. In the future we're going to have a lot of functions, alright, and this is the function that the computer executes first, which called the main, and it returns an integer value for the operating system to tell the operating system if things were good or not. So if things went good, it returns 0. If there was something went wrong during the process, it returns non-zero value, which means something wrong wins. Alright? And printf, hello world. Printf is a function that simply prints some text, and we are able to use it because we have included the stdio.h library. Because we've included this one, we're able to use printf. Alright? And the printf is simply prints what's inside of this double quotes to the screen. Alright? And return some value. It's just a statement that returns the next value to a program or an OS. In our case, it gets the return to the OS. By convention, 0 means success, and non-zero values means failure. So if the program returned, for example, 0, we will know that every instruction before the return 0 has been performed perfectly and nothing went wrong. But if the program returns some other value, for example, that means that there's something went wrong. Alright? And you may say why this is useful, but simply I'm going to explain it in another way. There's, for example, your program is calling some program to perform some kind of task. And the program who called the second program will need to know if the program that I called did things good or not. Alright? That's simply how it is. Like, if the program the second program returned a 0, that means things went wrong, so we can proceed. But if the program returned a non-zero value, that means something went wrong and we can't continue. And example, are you using your phone and you got into a program, the program asked for a certain permission, the OS showed you a menu, either to accept that or to refuse it. When you click no, for example, you refuse it, the program will know that by the return value. Alright? So if you click yes, the OS is going to return for the program, yeah, he clicked yes. But if not, it will tell him no. It's just a kind of idea like this. Just in order to understand. Don't try to understand everything, only understand enough. Running the program on Unix-like operating systems, you can do something like that. And you can just go to the directory. You will need to have like a compiler which called GCC, and I'm pretty sure like if you're on Linux, it's not going to be hard for you. And then you tell it to put the executable file in a file called output, and then we're running the output file, and then we're getting our result, which are hello world. On Windows, I haven't used Windows for a while, but you can check the ways when to set up VS Code with C on YouTube. There's a lot of videos there, but I guess that in general, you're just going to go to any browser, you're going to say download Visual Studio Code, which is VS Code, and you'll get there. You will download for your machine, which is Windows. You will install MinGW, which is like a compiler for translating the C code into the machine code All right. Like on Windows for C and C++, and you're going to open the command prompt. All right. You're going to try the following. Now you have the compiler. Now you have like an idea where you write code, and then you will just go to that directory, and then GCC, the same thing as Linux. But as you can see here, when you're going to go to the path, it's different. It's not a forward slash, it's a backslash. And then GCC, and then you're compiling the code, GCC main.c-o output.exe. All right. You're telling the compiler, which is GCC, to translate for you the main.c code into an executable file called output.exe. All right. And then you're running this one, and then you're going to get the same thing. Hello world. And then course summary. All right. C is a powerful and efficient programming language. We wrote and ran our first C program. We understand the basic elements of C code, and the next steps right now is try to edit things in that code, get some errors, and have fun. You know, life is about solving errors, all right? So just have fun solving them. All right, now it's your time to code, and I hope a good luck for you. And in the end, thanks for watching. Now I hope you haven't missed something, but thanks anyway, and have a great day.